And we are live. Hello folks, welcome to part 26 of Sonadow Play Ace Attorney. Joining me as per usual is my lovely girlfriend I IMShadow007. Say hello, hun.
Hi!
And I think we finally got that voice issue fixed.
Yeah, finally. Now I can just like scream as however I want like this at any volume.
And so today we're going to start the first trial for Recipe for Turnabout.
Yes. Also, speaking of audio levels, tell them how to do a sound test.
Oh, yeah, usually before streams we do a sound test to make sure I can hear her okay, so I play the game audio and then she speaks over it. Today though, she sneezed twice before she even got to say anything, so we just counted that as our sound test.
Yeah, so like, get this. He says, okay, honey, give me a sound test. And then as soon as he said that, I went, Achoo! Achoo! He's like, I'll take that as a yes.
Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee over, sir. Scout's honor.
Maggie!
Ah! Detective Gumshoe!
Are you doing alright? How are you feeling?
As if you need to ask either question, sir.
Don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay?
Roger!
Stop saluting, you're not a friggin' cop anymore! And you! Yes? You'd better square this case away. Got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? If you screw up, then I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. I think he's serious.
Hey, Detective. You're on our side for once, right?
Yep.
So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Really? Can you, sir?
Oh, of course! I got the situation under control. I'm gonna be the first witness on the stand today. If something I say doesn't mesh with the facts, make sure you point it out, alright? Sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me?
I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, Detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh?
I can only wish.
Oh boy.
Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Right out the gate.
Bitter. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? What's wrong? Nothing, it's just whenever I addressed you in previous trial, your response was, "You was talking to me?" I was a little, well, intimidating. No, that wasn't me! That was the phony Phoenix! I see. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty? So, Mr. Godot, your opening statement, please. Mr. Trite, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we will find out soon enough through this trial today. But I can already tell you, I'm the real Phoenix Wright! I wasn't questioning whether you're Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. That's what I intend to find out. You cheeky bastard!
Wow.
There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason. One reason or another.
You have no idea, Phoenix.
As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said. Trust me. Now then, Mr. Godot, please summon your first witness.
Surprise, surprise.
Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation. Witness, state your name for the court. Huh? Oh, sorry, sir. The name's Police Department Detective Occupation Dick Gumshoe. Other way around, Detective. Huh? Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation is tied up with another case now.
I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake.
I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elk. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll for Blue Screens Inc., a local company. This is the victim's autopsy report. The court accepts this into evidence.
Thank you.
Hold on, I'm going to turn you up a little. You're a little quiet.
Alright. How about now?
No, hold on, I'm going to turn you up via my Discord.
Oh.
Don't mind me. Okay, say something?
Hello?
There you go, just a little bit louder.
Alrighty.
When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. The poisoned coffee was brought over to him by the waitress. The waitress being the accused? Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. John Armstrong, the owner and chef, and a regular by the name of Victor Kudo. It still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. Thank you.
We'll take that.
Come, Detective. Take up this hammer and nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony. Yes, sir.
Okay.
When the incident took place, the victim was alone in his table, sir. We understand that the guy Glenn Elg was listening to the radio at the time. With a Dragon Ball Z scouter. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. And what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. And, it looks like Miss Bird might have, well, some kind of a motive.
You said he was alone. Are you sure?
Using the dark, aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. The facts of this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around. Is that understood? I already told you! That wasn't me! Seriously, how many times...
You said he... Like, you said he was alone, Detective, but... Are you sure? And also, you were right, though. Like... No, go back.
Oops.
Oh!
Pressed the wrong button. I'll just skip this.
Leave it. Anyway, just the first... when he said he was alone. Yeah, hold it.
Can I stop you for just a minute? Huh? What is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence? He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said! And Objection. What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction? Hey! Sadly, her testimony isn't supported by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. Their two testimonies tie up on that. They both said there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on at this point a little harder or not?
Press.
Well, maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way. Ha! That argument is as weak as the coffee at Très Bien, Trite. I have here in my possession a ticket. A ticket? Looks more like a photo to me. Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population, the defendant.
And you withheld this information, why?
Because he's a prosecutor. This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef moments after the poisoning took place, correct? I think the court will agree that with such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trite, could anyone have overlooked the second person at the table? Ugh! It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. Thank you.
Take that. Now, you said there was traces of poison. Yeah, hold it.
So, traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else. Not sure I get you, pal. Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder? If I'd put it into layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So the poison could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper.
Objection!
Huh. Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee, Trite? No, but most diners have that as standard when you sit at a table.
Yeah.
The victim took his coffee black with no sugar. It seems that this poison could only have been in the coffee. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not?
Press.
Are you absolutely certain that the victim even drank any of his coffee? Huh? What do you mean? According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But what proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Oh, hey! You're right! That's what I... God damn it. In case you were wondering, the last objection was for the detective there. Huh? For me? Oh, hey! You're right! You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. If you have the time to waste, you have the time to present that piece of evidence. That piece, sir? Yes, that piece. What piece was it again? This.
Ow.
Excuse me, Court. Ow! Can I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Hey, isn't that assault?
I love that Sprite. I love that Sprite so much.
Yeah, but it's assault!
Yeah, I know.
Is literally
his attorney.
No one in the court pointing out that the prosecution just assaulted a defense attorney?
Well, considering that this court can't even recognize that they can't depict Phoenix with someone from fucking Jersey with a tiger suit and a really thick Brooklyn accent, this court is dumb.
Good point.
Like, I've seen Kangaroo Jack act more kangaroo than this kangaroo court.
Oh, now I remember. This is the, victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the rim. Oh yes, it's unmistakable. There was clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. The victim gulped down the bitter death that the waitress brought to him. Like this!
Jesus, no way to deep throat that.
For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victims and the defendants.
Thank you.
Upon further investigation of the cup, we found a certain chemical substance.
You said that Maggie has some kind of motive? Yeah, hold it.
Some kind of motive? Yeah, but if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion. Objection. You know what my golden rule is, detective? Check out a bad cup of coffee. You can always get another. Huh? I don't get it. I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand, if we have to chuck you out. So stick to the facts, detective. Now then, what was Miss Bird's motive? Come on, Gumshoe. They said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. I knew it. That's what we heard yesterday, too. It disappeared from the scene of the crime. And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket for $500,000.
Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one.
Then, is it possible Maggie stole the winning one? What should I do? Should I press on to this point a little harder or not?
Press.
Wait a minute. The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client. Huh. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's $500,000. That's the $500,000 lottery ticket? One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant. What? Order! Order! Ha! She's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit the ticket as evidence to the court, immediately! I'd better keep an eye on that ticket. The way the judge's voice is quivering.
Thank you.
The ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial, too. But it feels heavier now somehow. $500,000, you say? It's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor. And that's on Maggie's person, unfortunately. That's enough! The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant has ample opportunity to commit the crime in which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. I like an old man who knows the score. There is also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive. I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money.
Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggie is starting to pile up fast.
Yeah, that's because this court has ruled guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance with one final decisive piece of evidence. He's got more evidence against Maggie? This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time.
Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've seen.
That stain looks like... It can't be blood, can it? It seems the star of our little play was a little flustered. And somehow spilled coffee on herself. The coffee? That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean... Of course. I'm referring to the pocket.
Godot, aren't you forgetting something?
The pocket? A search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. A bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket? Yeah, and Maggie's prints were the only ones on it. What?!
Godot, aren't you forgetting the blood stain on the apron?
Order! 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 The court will accept these items into evidence. Thanking you.
Thank you. Thanks?
Here, you want some?
No!
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why are you not explaining the bloodstain to this court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron! That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You don't need to be told. Just look at it! Well, detective? Could this stain really be blood? No way, sir! It's just ketchup, sir.
Ketchup?
Huh? She must have gotten some in her apron while taking someone breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe! Pull a stunt like that again and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. Ugh.
Ew.
I like my ketchup, but not that much.
Could be worse. He could be drinking hot sauce.
Oh, good point there. Ugh. I thought everyone knew what it was already.
But the question is, Godot didn't.
Exactly.
Foreshadowing.
I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last ruling I made on this case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence. They have all been clearly established. Well, Trite, it seems you really are a phony after all. Ugh, you really know how to drive a man nuts. Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kinda scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly.
Did it, though?
When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trite. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one. So let the fun begin.
You said the investigation went smoothly, Detective? You sure?
Wait a sec. Huh? Did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, right? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? Oh, that. He's so let down. He's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table, along with a lottery ticket. It seems Mr. Glenn L. visited his doctor before he went to Trebienne. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. That's a reliable enough source for the court. What should I do? Should I leave this alone or ask to hear more?
Ask the bag.
So what sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag was found empty. Huh? Yeah, completely empty. It was completely empty.
Thank you.
Huh. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate are you, Trite? Now, what happened with the investigation after that, Detective?
You said it was empty, though, right? You found nothing? There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. Well, look at the... No. I was gonna say look at the prescription bag. Present that. Yeah, present that. So go back. Nothing missing? Yeah, look at the prescription bag again.
Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There is just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, finally! I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will you? You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Trebian. Where then did the medicine disappear to? You are too cool, pal! Indeed! Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness! Why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? I guess that's one of the most careless things I've done so far, huh? The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Godot, what do you have to say to that? That's all. What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything?
Otolaryngological.
Jesus, that's a mouthful. New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. Otolaryngological? Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godot? Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say. A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. L found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of his head and ruptured his eardrum. Ooh!
Fuck!
He ruptured his eardrum? Then what on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside the ear canal, not to be ingested.
Ugh, I hate ear medicine.
Never had it.
Never, like, I took an ear medication before, but only when, like, when I was in the pool and water getting in my ears, but yeah, still, ugh.
He mentioned in the autopsy report, if you read the fine print, they found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is, in very, very fine print. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Trebian. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication. Ugh. It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all. No!
Nick! If you don't think of something quick, it'll all be over.
She's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do?
Push the medication issue.
Only moments ago, Mr. Godot made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of the medication while he was at Trebian. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime? The medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. Objection! That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. Objection. You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. It hardly seems likely that the coffee the witness served would contain it either. But it did! The possibility is undeniable. That's enough. Mr. Godot, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godot? I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was in the restaurant on the day of the murder.
Great.
Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater? Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems a little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me.
Yay! Good job, Nick!
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness. Ha! I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess.
Godot, how are you not having heart palpitations? I will always keep asking that.
I know, right?
Phew! That was close.
Tell me about it. I nearly died in there.
That's my line, sir! No, it's my line! I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we were all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe! How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me. But he totally set me up!
I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right?
It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. It's like going into a mirror and say, it's all gonna be okay. I got that from Bob's Burgers. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again.
Poor Gumshoe.
So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo, lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's gonna be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know? Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you gonna be able to handle him, Nick?
Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me. Even those never-ending bird seeds.
I was about to say that.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? All right.
Mr. Tomato Nose!
Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
The name's Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too.
We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation? Listen, young'un. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been much better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness. Were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh, yes. I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are, hmm?
I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this.
The young'un was reading the sports paper. The servant girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the servant girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Do you?
Mr. Kudo, she is not a servant girl. Please refer to her as a waitress.
Ha! You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones,
Newfangled?
All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
You said you remember Maggie Bird? Do you really? I don't think you do. Hold it!
You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace. That's what it is.
Sorry?
You can see all the way up her... you know. She's
Pervert.
practically naked in that uniform.
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear such a uniform. Even me don't want to see that, Phoenix.
No, thank you!
Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. Thank you.
Oh my god. Phoenix cross-dressing. Never want to see that. Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together.
I guess I got a bit carried away.
Ha! There are other things I recognize about her, too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do?
Press.
So you saw the waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right.
Mr. Kudo, these other features you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure.
This is new. Hold it.
So you seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
Ha! As if I would remember that.
Objection. The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
So you see, there's nothing wrong with this witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling something more to this somehow.
Ask about the waitress's back.
The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
Objection. Ha! He's got you there, Gramps. People normally talk about facial features when they're asking to describe someone. But this waitress's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment. I tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observed from the front. That is, to your testimony.
Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer.
Tell me about it. And if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
You said you saw... There wasn't anything you saw. What about the apron? Because if you really had seen her face, you would have saw the stained apron.
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this.
Ha! That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. You think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you half-witted clot. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means, if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front.
Oops. Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this.
Huh. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Trite. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird?
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say or what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what burger a customer wanted.
He can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times. He's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. He was another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the servant girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
Really? Did he really do that? Because we've got something.
The testimony we have just heard what was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we going to handle this, Nick?
We only need to do one thing. Just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot.
Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel?
I suppose, but it's what I do best.
You said he picked up the coffee cup with his free hand. Well, if you look at the coffee cup... No. If you look at the coffee cup... Looky there. He said he picked it up with his free hand, but no, he didn't.
Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was the way of testing the credibility of your memory?
I know! There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you! Nothing! If I got anything wrong, I'll eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Care to tell us where this is going, Trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left.
Ha! What is this? Kindergarten?
But I would like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
Yes, there's a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup with his right hand.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those pigeon seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from. Wait! If you think I'm gonna stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong! I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw! You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup with his left hand. Oh, yes, no question. I'm a good, law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot and you spiky-haired yahoo, who are at fault.
Who, me?
Thank you, old man. You've heard quite enough from me already. Don't call me old man, old man! Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but... Sure, why not hear a little more?
Mr. Godot?
But this is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand.
You said he was wearing the earpiece the same as his spectacles, right? Sure.
It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers. Translation is a scouter from Dragon Ball Z.
A monitor? You mean like a television screen?
The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HD TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters get me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw, and I'm telling the truth.
It's true. He doesn't seem to be lying.
And those are the facts, in good old black and white.
Yeah, present Glenn Elk's profile in the very first statement. Because if you look at Glenn Elk's profile, he said he was wearing the earpiece on his left side. But how can he wear an earpiece if he can't hear anything?
I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim.
What?
You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD.
No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. I can only see that side of his head where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo. But the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Traces of medication in his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Oh god.
Ready, pigeon? Order! Order! Order!
The witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind, and he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot? A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain, are you calling me a drip?
This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand.
I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his Javachino with his left hand.
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup and held in his right hand, and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness had already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up the cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The fact still stands. With one hand or the other, Mr. Elk drank the poisoned coffee. Like this. Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by the witness is useless. I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied with what the that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce.
Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. You can't reach me from there. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned.
Wait!
Oh, that was you.
If we stop now, where does that leave me?
Leave you, Mr. Kudo?
Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now.
How is your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut until now.
But there's something else the court should know. What?
There's more?
To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, you young shark.
Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook.
Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee, and I really need a piss.
What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javachino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man.
That's enough, witness. I believe it'll be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony.
You bet! Much, much quicker.
I can't believe this is happening.
You better get ready, youngster.
I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? He's gotta be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. Yeah, he's got the infinite ammo bandana.
And the infinite ammo on the, with Godot's coffee.
First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of the Javachino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down,
You said the vase broke. We have something that proves otherwise.
Is that all?
Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? You're doubting a poor, defenseless old man?
No, we're not doubting you, Mr. Kudo.
Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick?
Yeah. So what, probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're bird brain. That's all you can think of.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your final cross-examination, please.
You said the vase was broken, that it broke. Not next one. Look at the crime photo.
Looky.
Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
Lost your tongue, Granddad?
I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch. Ow! Ow! Enough!
If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. What is it now?
I just remembered something.
Yes? Go on.
The broken vase. It was on my table. Oh, well, you see, it startled me when the young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
The vase
You
on your
dumbass!
table. The vase on your table?
Yeah, it was on my table.
And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked. Yeah, I didn't need to know that, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Everyone's just so done.
Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today.
I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all?
Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo.
Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh, yes. I remember something else.
Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom.
Wait! Listen to me!
You and Wendy Oldback can get along just fine.
Oh, God. Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked, and I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. Disparities, rather. Mark in the coffee cup and the victim supposedly drank with his left hand. And the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear.
Wow, Nick, you did it!
I therefore request both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor. The witness we just heard from. He is most insistent that his testimony should be of use. So he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like this.
Godot's really mad, huh?
Yeah, I would be too.
Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Godot's.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase in my seat. I am sorry.
I'm sorry. This isn't a piece of testimony. More like a 5-year-old's apology.
What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies?
That is all. This court is adjourned.
Phew.
Phew. Phew.
But yeah, this Victor Kudo and Wendy Oldbag, a match made in heaven, like a Karen and Clorox.
God, don't put them in the same room. I don't think the universe could handle it.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
You're right. No, I'm not.
Alright, folks. Well, that's it for that trial just now. Next week, again, since we're doing Ace Attorney bi-weekly, next week we'll be finishing off Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You there, hon? Hello? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
That's weird. As I was saying, we'll be finishing off Sonic 3 and Knuckles next week.
Yep, we will.
So, anything to say before we sign off?
That was fun.
Yeah, it was. So, tune in for this in 2 weeks, and next week we'll be finishing off Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So, see you all then, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.